feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go, 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 yeah, go, go, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single.
What is up, guys, and welcome to another video. It has been a little while since I did an update video on the old Camaro, and as you can tell, the backdrop looks a little bit different right now. Quick story, I won't bore you too much. We ended up selling our houses down in the cities in Minnesota. I am lucky enough to have my father-in-law let me stay up here at his cabin, which has a nice huge pole barn with a lift inside and all kinds of cool stuff. And he's nice enough to let us stay up here, and I am moving. We are moving out of Minnesota, and we are going back to my home state in Phoenix, Arizona. That is where I was born and raised. We are making the switch back to the West Coast, so that's why everything looks so much different. And I have to make a confession. I bought a Ford truck. It is a 2013 F-250 with the 6.7 liter Power Stroke. You know, it is a little bit of blasphemy for some of you guys on here, but many of you guys don't know that I actually like Fords and Chevys. I am a weird guy. I originally was a Ford person, but when the LS came out, it converted me back to Chevy, which stole my heart, and it still has my heart to this day. And I almost built a Fox body Mustang. I could not find one that was not rusted out up here. It was either going to be an Iroc or a Fox body, but then I was going to put an LS motor in the Fox body anyways, and everybody would have been up in arms. But we did get a good deal on this girl right here, and she has stole my heart ever since. So today we're going to go through and show you some of the badass mods that we got done, so stay tuned. Let's show you. Alright, so some of the first aesthetic mods that we've done on the Camaro, and this one is actually functional. This is going to be the track spec hood louvers. I am very happy with how well those things turned out. Man, they are not only functional, but they give the Camaro some more attitude, and it just looks sick. That's some of the one of the aesthetics that we did. Also, we did get these rims. We got some bigger rims and got some meat up in the back of this thing. We're running the 10.5 inch rim in the back now, with the 295 35/18 tire. I'm going to cover more of that later in this video when we get it up on the lift to show you guys some of the really cool undercarriage stuff that this thing has going on. All the magic is underneath, so you're not going to want to miss that. And how can you fit some bigger meat on your third gen? I cover a little bit about that. As far as interior goes, we did get rid of the stock gauge cluster with the check engine light blaring at us from pulling all the old computers and electronics out and installing the LS with the standalone. And we also did do a new steering wheel. Man, this is by a company called Forever Sharp. I am very happy with this steering wheel. It looks trick, and it is also blends together just everything that we have going on this build. Everything else is pretty much stock on the inside. I think I did have the seats in last time, but for the steering wheel and gauge cluster, got everything wired up. We are running the electronic speedometer. Have everything wired into the stock system, so it is working flawlessly. Very happy with that. Alright guys, so under the hood, we really didn't do a whole lot other than the mods that we already had from the last video, which was about a year ago. Like I said, we did do the track specs. Underneath the hood, what we did is we upgraded our cooling fans. We got some better fans by, these are spals. These things are moving some serious air. The reason we had to upgrade the fans is because when I put the AC back in the car, we are running AC again. It was starting to creep up after an autocross event. I couldn't really keep my AC on because it was getting up to 220, 225. Also, and when it was about 95, 98 degrees one day, stop and go in Street Machine Nationals, when you're cruising through the aisles, it would creep up with the AC on. So if without the AC, it was fine. As soon as I put AC back in, I definitely needed some bigger fans. So we got the spal fans. Those things are monsters, man. If you are having trouble keeping your LS build cool, I guarantee you it is more than likely weak fans that's causing the problem. Upgrade to some good quality fans by some spal or some other top name brands, and you will not have cooling issues at least in my case, unless you have something else wrong. So underneath the hood, that's all we got. We still have the nice, clean, simple build right here. Try to keep it super clean. As well as, I'm gonna put a picture up of what this first 5.3 swap looked like right now. You guys are gonna laugh. This is the first 5.3 swap this car had. I'm gonna throw it up on the screen now. So see, that is where the progress from this car came. The first time I did the swap, I was not happy with how well it looked. I was embarrassed to open my hood at the shows. I went through, completely removed the engine, painted the engine bay myself. This is the first time I've done a paint job like that. I did some Harbor Freight purple gun right there. YouTubed all the videos, watched all the stuff on the internet. I tell you, there's seriously nothing you can't teach yourself off of YouTube and forums this day and age. You can go out there and figure it out yourself. You just got to be willing to put in the work and the effort. That's exactly what I did with this car. And we're going to go ahead and pull it inside and show you guys some of the really cool undercarriage modifications that we got done. And this thing is on another level, so don't miss it. All right, so we are actually going to be going over some of the undercarriage modifications that we have on this thing too. And we are running basically UMI everything because my OCD, I have to stick with the same brand. Once I start something, it's really hard for me to miss and match. It just drives my brain crazy. But we are running the UMI full race, road race K-member. And we are also running the UMI subframe connectors. And we are running the UMI rear sway bar out back. And the UMI rear max clearance panhard bar, so that when we are running this 4-inch exhaust, I just freed up a little bit more clearance so I didn't have any rubbing issues or anything like that. And also the UMI adjustable torque arm. I do have that covered on one of my 4 9-inch install videos on how I got that to work with the Quick Performance 9-inch. Had to do some trimming and some modifications. That is on the video too. And we are running the UMI max clearance cross member, so we could fit the long tubes and have plenty of ground clearance with this thing. I've actually never even hit the exhaust on it, so I am very happy with it. It is lower just a little bit, but I could not be happier with this cross member and how much extra room that I freed up for the long tube headers. I can actually pull them off super easy, as well as the weight savings that this thing has accomplished. I think it's about 70 pounds lighter in the front end. And if you add the aluminum LS3 compared to the old iron block, I shaved about 170 pounds off the front end of this car alone, just from an aluminum LS and the Road Race K member. We are running the drop springs, 1.5-inch drop springs up front. We are running the UMI Wonder Bar. And that's basically it for underneath. Oh, and I am running the low mount AC with the Road Race K-member, which is very hard to do. I had to do some modifications back here, cut one of the adjustable mounts, and this is by a company called Quick Performance. Let me know in the comments if you're interested on how to run a low mount AC system with an aftermarket cross member, which is really hard to do because there is some limitations in space that you will run into. And that's basically it for the undercarriage of this car. But it is nice to be able to show you guys all the hard work that I put in underneath this car with it up on a lift, because it makes it so much easier to get the shots of just how cool this thing is underneath. And I'm going to go ahead and cover a little bit more. All right, so this is, I'm running the Nitto NT05, which is basically like the max performance street tire you can get before you move to a radial. It is the 295 35 18. Like I said before, on the 10.5-inch rim. In order to get this to work, we did have to do some modification back there. As you can see, the diamond plate. What I did is I actually cut the bump stop and the corrugated part that protrudes out around the spring perch. I cut that all off and went completely flat. And I welded in, I think you can see it back here. I welded in some 14 gauge weldable diamond plate. And I gotta paint it a little bit. I just put some primer on it for now, but as you can see, it is sitting perfectly flat. And if you look at how much more room I have, I could actually go wider than a 295 right now. I think I go all the way up to about a 315, which some guys are running. I decided just to do the 295 for now. So what I did, I cut the bump stop off. I welded in a completely flat piece of metal, and for the bump stops, I am actually running the shaft mounted bump stops on the Koni Gold adjustables. So I definitely wanted some more adjustability, so I pulled the Bilsteins out, which I'm still running the Bilsteins up front for now. I just wanted extra adjustability for the autocross track, to be able to tighten it down when I need it and then back it off when I want a better ride for the street. So I'm running the shaft mounted bump stop. I can go ahead and include the part number, the one I'm running, in the description for anyone interested on getting some bigger meat on the back of their third gen. But man, the look I was going for, the staggered look with the bigger up, you know, the bigger in the back, smaller up front, it just gives it that classic hot rod look that you cannot argue with. I am very happy with the way that came out. Definitely happy with the tires too. Those things are gripping really good. So that's enough on the tires. Let's move on to some other stuff. All right, so one of the other modifications that we've done, which I did an update video on the channel about that one, is we are running a 4-inch Mufflex catback exhaust system with the MagnaFlow 4-inch through and through race muffler. This thing sounds awesome, dude. It is so rowdy, and it idles and cams. It's just a unique sound because you really don't hear too many 4-inch exhausts on many hot rods. They always are running the duals with the X-pipe, so it has a unique sound when you're running, you know, the 4-inch, and it sounds amazing. So I'm gonna put a video clip of that up right now, let you guys hear it. And like I said, I really love this exhaust, and it freed up from the dyno numbers too. When we dynoed it, it freed up, I think, close to 38 more horsepower because I was running the single 3-inch MagnaFlow catback exhaust system, and that was just a little bit too small for the LS3, especially with the cam that we are running and the kind of power we are making. It is putting down an impressive 441 to the wheel right now, which I am extremely happy with. It is a fun street car right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you some of the other stuff. All right, so and most importantly too, the last time I did the video, we were running the stock 10-bolt rear end. What we did was we actually upgraded to, it's not really a Ford 9-inch, but it is a 9-inch. It is through Quick Performance. This is the Big Web fabricated housing, so it was never a Ford, but it is copying the big ring gear from the Ford, and that is a bulletproof rear end. We are running 389 gears with an Eaton True Track. And it has been working flawlessly. I'm very happy with the gear selection. It is meshed perfectly with the T56 6-speed because I am able to still cruise down the highway at 80 miles an hour and still run 2,000 RPM. I hardly ever even get to 6th gear because it's so boggy. But it has the spunk when you need it, and when you're dropping gears, it is just a perfect balance for me in this build between top end and low end. I cannot be happier with that. This is also, we're running the custom chromoly drive shaft that we have up front. That thing is good for about 1,000 horsepower. I really don't want to worry about it breaking. I prefer aluminum drive shafts just because of the vibration dampening that the aluminum has compared to a steel or chromoly. But it is really hard to get an aluminum one to hold up to that power without breaking the bank. So that is it for the Ford 9-inch. I'm going to move on and show you some of the other stuff. And for the fuel pump, running a Stealth Automotive 340 in-tank pump. That thing has been working great for me. Cannot complain for $100. We are running the LS1 brakes out back. And I think that's enough rambling. If you guys have any more questions on the build or the cars or anything that you're working on that you might be stuck with, or just have questions, go ahead, drop a comment down below and I'll get back to most of my comments. And also, if you think this car is worthy of a like, go ahead and hit that like button for me, guys. I really appreciate it, and consider subscribing if you're interested in following along on some cool 3rd gen builds.